I've got a picture that will give you chills. This photo is of Amy Song from 2017, and the strange part about the picture that you're looking at is that the picture is of Amy. We just don't know who took it. Amy was a college exchange student who was living in Central Florida at the time when she went on a hike by herself. Amy never came back, so her family as well as the school commissioned the police to work on a ground and aerial search while tracing her phone. The phone was eventually recovered. They found it near a swamp, and although Amy's body was never found, that picture was a picture of Amy running through the water. So many questions have continued to surround this case about what really happened to Amy out there and who took the photo of her.
We got a scary update on the woman that went viral after freaking out on an airplane, claiming that everyone was going to die. She said she saw a sinister figure in black at the back of the plane. Well, take a look at this image. The woman did the as above, so below sign. These words and the accompanying gesture are familiar to occultists. Not only that, apparently this woman is now missing. What is going on? Make sure you all like and follow for more updates and scary content. Let's talk about the new case of a woman that tried to murder her doppelganger with cheesecake, and how it was solved using her Facebook posts. This is Victoria Nazarova. She poisoned a piece of cheesecake and gave it to her beauty stylist, Olga. Her plan was to kill Olga and steal her identity. People said that they looked alike, so she was literally just gonna become Olga. However, Olga only got very sick and never died. So then police were on the hunt for her. How did they find her? Well, using these photos from Facebook. A detective knew what kind of car she was driving based off of the reflection of the dashboard of the car and the stitching on the car's headrest. He then looked at her Facebook likes to see what areas or restaurants she liked. All of them were in one central area, so they knew that that's where she lived. I'm running out of time. Part 2 coming soon.
She found out that her husband of over 10 years didn't exist. In 1995, a high-earning Stanford and Harvard-educated executive named Sandra Boss set out for a clue-themed cocktail party in New York City. There she met a man who introduced himself as Clark Rockefeller. He told her he was a distant member of the infamously wealthy and powerful Rockefeller family. He claimed he was an heir to the Rockefeller fortune and said all the right things. Clark was not only very intelligent, but he was charming. The two fell in love and got married in an unofficial ceremony. But not long after, Sandra began to notice some strange things about her husband. Most notably, for being a Rockefeller, Clark never had any money. Sandra was the breadwinner for the family. Clark told Sandra to file her taxes as a single person, even though they were married. Sandra also found that Clark didn't have a social security card, not even a credit card to his name. He was also cagey about his past, but the two had a daughter together, so Sandra tried to make it work. But finally, after 10 years, Sandra knew something was very wrong and hired a PI to look into her husband. And the PI found that Clark Rockefeller didn't exist. No one knew who this man was, but he was not a Rockefeller. And after Sandra divorced him, he kidnapped their daughter for a week. Their daughter was recovered safely by the FBI, and Clark Rockefeller was later identified as a German-born conman named Christian Gerhardschreider. He had been conning for 30 years and had countless identities. Christian was also wanted and later convicted for the murder of a couple in California. Sandra was married to a cold-blooded killer for over a decade, and she had no idea. And Christian has been imprisoned at San Quentin for years. This story is truly a cautionary tale. Always do your research before getting involved with someone, no matter how charming they are.
What would you do in this situation? Okay, so this person was in a hotel room one night with their door locked, keep in mind. And this random person was trying to break into their room using this tool that is specifically designed to break into people's rooms. And this is why you should always put a towel on your door handle. I promise you, it could save your life. Here's the video.
This might be one of the scariest videos found on the dark web.
Don't believe what you see. Don't believe what you see.
A shop owner set up cameras in their store after finding their store often messed up in the morning. It seemed weird that nothing was ever taken, but their product was all over the place. This is what they discovered. I don't know what that creature is, but their store is haunted. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.
Let me tell you about the TikTokers who recorded a video of a body in a suitcase.
What?
It started off with these group of TikTokers who were randonautting, right? And they were recording like TikToks of them doing it. Gives off a like vibration,
like a frequency.
Yeah, and it's normally like even. This place sends you to places that are like way lower, right? So they were doing this and they were recording it. This is during the pandemic when this app was really like booming. They follow the thing that it tells them to go to and it takes them to this pier. Well, underneath the pier, there's a bed of rocks. They saw a suitcase. Well, when they saw the suitcase, they were like, it could have money in it.
Yeah.
Open it. It stinks, y'all.
It washed out.
Oh, here's the crime scene.
So they called the cops show up and then confirm to them that it is human remains that were found inside of this bag. This landlord got into it with his tenants. It was this couple and he ended up taking their lives with a shotgun. It's so weird how that would mean that it's true, right?
I don't know.
Okay, so we all know the phrase knocking on wood, right? Well, did you know the disturbing truth behind it? If not, you're about to find out and you're never going to knock on wood again. Okay, knocking on wood is a tradition of literally touching, tapping, or knocking on wood after somebody says they're doing something or intending to do so, in order to avoid a tempting fate after making a favorable prediction or boast, or the hopes of somebody's death. But realistically, knocking on wood is extremely demonic. When you knock on wood, you're just begging a spirit to come and help you with whatever you wanted. Just listen to this priest explain it and promise me you're never going to knock on wood again.
Our lives. I haven't mentioned the practice of knocking on wood. Don't raise your hand. Has anybody ever knocked on wood? Do you know where the practice comes from? It's a Druid practice believing that spirits live in the trees. So when you knock on wood, you're asking the spirit that lives in the tree to come to your aid and to grant your request. Now, if you've ever done that, I'm not saying you're possessed, so don't worry about that. But I just share that as an example of how things that have to do with the occult can become so mainstream.
5 haunted places local to me in Dorset. The last story had me crying. Knowlton Church, said to be one of the most haunted places in Dorset. The church was built in the 12th century and was deliberately sited in the middle of a pagan place of worship. Paranormal groups have witnessed swirling white mists and have heard ethereal voices chattering around them, and a tall figure dressed in black that suddenly appears from nowhere can be seen. Scapelands Court. Scapelands Court is a 15th century Grade I listed house in Poole, Dorset. It is believed that a maid named Agnes Beard was for lead at the house in 1598. Tyneham Village. Tyneham is a ghost village abandoned in 1943 and former civil parish. Visitors have claimed to see things out the corner of their eye when visiting. People have also stated feeling uneasy in the school classroom that is there. A ghostly sighting has been caught on camera of a tall man in a flat cap and long coat. Cough Castle. William the Conqueror began the castle, although it was King John who turned it into the royal palace. Strange, flickering lights have been seen moving about the ramparts at night. The heart-rending sobs of a weeping child has been heard from the castle, but the most famous haunting here is Headless White Lady, whose shimmering shade chills the blood of those who chance upon her. Athelhampton House, a beautiful historic house in the west of England. The ancient manor of Athelhampton has been continually lived in since Saxon times. Many ghost sightings have been reported from this house, including a grey lady sitting in a high-backed chair, a priest garbed in a black cassock. But the most famous, and, for that matter, most unusual, of Athelhampton House's phantoms is a spectral ape, the adored pet of one of the daughters of the house. The girl was one day jilted by a feckless lover and, heartbroken, she decided to take her own life and secret chamber above the great hall, where she knew that she could do the deed uninterrupted. She failed to notice that her devoted petty pet followed her through the hidden doorway, and when she closed the door of the secret chamber, the poor creature became trapped on the stairway where it slowly starved to defourth. The ghostly ape can be heard scratching upon the paneling, desperate for someone to release its spirit from its eternal prison.
Alleged real-life men in black caught on camera with eyewitness account. In 2008, Niagara Falls, New York, Shane Sovar, a hotel manager, and a security guard said they had seen a UFO outside the hotel window. 3 weeks after a UFO investigation team looked into the sighting, 3 witnesses reported that 3 MIB had visited the hotel and terrified the staff, looking for Sovar and the guard, who were not present at the time. The witnesses described them similarly to Hopkins' account. However, the hotel's security footage in the next clip did capture the MIB and is apparently the only known footage of a man in black sighting.
There's a couple really strange-looking men that were here, and they kind of freaked everybody out, and they were asking questions about you. And, of course, now I'm getting a little bit nervous, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, he goes, I don't know how to describe them except for extremely odd-looking. They were the exact same height, they were wearing the exact same clothes, and they had the exact same faces, like they were twins. And he said they were wearing black suits, black trench coats, they were wearing like the old-fashioned Federo hats. They had extremely, extremely pale skin. And he said they came in and they asked for you. And I said, I'm sorry, he's actually not working today. And it seemed like they didn't believe me, so they started to walk around the hotel, and shortly after they went to the tour desk. But he goes, they freaked me out, and I really wanted to tell you that there were these weird guys in here looking for you. So, of course, now I'm a little bit skeptical and I'm a little bit freaked out all at the same time. So the first thing I do is I run into my security office and I rewound the cameras. And sure enough, here comes 2 gentlemen through the front door looking exactly how he described. Then the next day, I was talking with my tour desk, and one of them asked to talk to me. She came in my office, the same as my bellman, and she said, I heard that you heard that there were some men looking for you. And she said, they asked a few questions about you, and they said strange things that I didn't understand. And they were talking about governments and conspiracies, and none of it made any sense to me. But she goes, they were very, very scary. She said they had no eyebrows, no eyelashes, nothing. Their hair looked like they had a wig on, like it was attached to their hat, like it wasn't even real. And she said, and the scariest thing, their eyes were so big and so blue that they almost hypnotized me a little bit. And she goes, and you're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but I swear they knew what I was thinking. And she started to cry. And she said one more thing before she left. She said, these men, they didn't blink. Not once did I see them blink.